I'm Robert Cavuto, and today on Sonic Perspectives, we are speaking with Sevendust drummer Morgan Rose for the release of the band's latest album, One, that came out last month. Morgan, welcome and thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me, bud.
Oh,
Appreciate you.
yeah. I've spoken to everybody. I've interviewed everybody in Sevendust over the years. So this is exciting to finally speak with
Yeah.
you. We haven't spoken. So
Oh, amazing.
I love the album. I think it's a tremendous album. And I really think the opening track and the title track, One, sets the tone for the album. What was the intentional groove of that you wanted to introduce the band's album on?
It was like we like to lead with the heavier side of what we've got in the body of work.
Mhm.
But we don't want it to be like, we want to be able to play it. We don't want it to be something that's overly heavy. So the first thing that you hear, I mean, it's a different time now. It's like people they heard three or four songs before they ever even got to that one. Actually, it's not like the old days when it's like you get the record and then you put it
Right.
on. But we still think that way. Our mentality is the first thing they're going to hear on the record is going to be this song. So there's something that's semi-stable about the groove.
Mhm.
Um, Big chorus and super heavy riff. So whereas Blood Price is like kind of all over the place and a little bit more math metal, at times, one was a little bit more down the middle.
Down the middle. And you realized that at the beginning when you were recording it, or when you were coming to the sequencing, when all the whole album was done? When,
Yeah, the
right.
sequencing, that's usually when, it was kind of a hard record to put together that way.
Yeah.
Because I've said this a few times recently, but it's like there was no direction. We didn't have a direction for the record. And
Mhm.
we've tried to have a direction, probably almost every one. Either we're like trying to be heavier or leaning on heavier riffs or leaning on programming and more of the production side of things. And then this one was like, dude, nobody cares. Like just write a bunch of songs and we'll pick the best ones out of it and we'll see where they land. We've been diverse enough over the last 30 years that it's like if you can have a song like Pieces on a record and you can have a song like Got a Feeling and Angel Sun and stuff like that, then I think we can do what whatever, we want. We'll
Yeah.
just cohesiveness was not the goal.
It does work as a complete unit, though. I really do. I think it kind of goes up, kind of goes down. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think maybe we missed the boat earlier. I think that was the move. I think the
Yeah.
idea is that, I mean, you try to do that live, you try to start with here, and then you kind of bring it down and let people kind of breathe, and then you end it with this big crescendo. Even though we ended it with, misdirection, still has a heavy ending, and there's something about the journey.
Yes,
If there's people that still want to listen to a full
I do that.
record.
I do that.
Yeah, I mean, the people that really enjoy that, and I do believe that people that support us, our people, are that way. I think that they want to hear all of the songs. So, yeah, maybe we missed the boat on a few of the other ones where it's like you don't have to just try to ram it down everybody's head. You can
Yeah, yeah.
just kind of make it a journey.
I think your drumming on it is tremendous, and it's really the backbone for the band's the guitar's heavier stabbing attack. There's a lot of that going on. Were you trying to anchor rhythmically on this album to that stabbing guitar?
Yeah, that's kind of been our thing. It's always been this idea of whoever writes the riff first or the groove first, the other's going to follow. That was kind of the formula for us from the get-go. Was the kick drum is going to match the riff. Um, and then as we got older, it was, well, maybe that's a little too much. Maybe the groove is just kind of getting, suffocated a little bit. And then the riffs started to get trickier, and it was like, okay, this is like becoming this degent kind of stuff where I'm just not that good. I don't want to go, I don't want to practice. I mean, I've only practiced like two times in my life, so I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
I don't want to like have to go in and like woodshed this. It should be easy. And So yeah, on this record it was kind of in between. There were stuff where I was like, I want to let this breathe a little bit, and then there were some that were like that, where it was like, we're gonna anchor this thing hard.
Yeah.
And then that was when I would throw stuff around the room. Usually I get mad at Clint because he wrote a riff that was hard to count, and he wasn't even there. I was so pissed at him. It was like, Clint writes that it was Blood Price. And if you just listen to that verse groove, it's like there's just little stabs that happen that they're not consistently the same. And to this day, I'm getting mad talking about it because it's like literally, I'm like, is it two there or is it one there? And it's like, okay, it's two. And then I play it, and the next one would be, is it two or one? And I would flip and flop them, and they would go bad. And then I'd get up and I'd throw shit across the room. And Elvis and them were like, it's all good, buddy. I'm like, he's not here. I want to kill this dude. So, he came in, he's like, man, it sounds really good. And I'm just looking at him like, dude, you have no idea what I
Yeah.
went through on this.
The
So,
names we called you.
oh man, I was not happy. I was not happy. Yeah. But
When you
that's how it works.
when you were talking and to distract from the album, you said you only practiced twice in your life. What were the two times that you did practice? Because that's hard to believe.
Well, I practiced, it might be only once.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was when I was going to MI, and my roommate at the time told me that I was a loser because I never went to school, which he was absolutely correct. And it was like 11 at night, and I had my key card, to get into the school. It was a 24-hour facility. And I said, I'll go practice right now. And I
I'm
was
gonna show
half
you.
drunk. I'll show you. I'll practice right now. And I went up there and didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just never been any practice in me.
Wow. That's incredible.
I I mean, I don't advise it, but I mean, it's like I'm doing Drumeo coming up in like July, I think, and I'm like, that's terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. It's like, how am I going to teach somebody how to play something when I don't even know what I'm doing? Am I going to, we don't do cover songs and, very often, and I've never been good at that kind of thing because I don't know what I'm doing.
That reminds me of one of my reoccurring nightmares. I'm on stage with Def Leppard, and I don't know how
Love
to
it.
play any of their songs. And I'm just standing there with the volume low, making believe I know what I'm doing. And that's constant reoccurring. And I don't know why it happens, but yeah, I could relate to it.
God, I love it. I just
Terrifying.
watched a Def Leppard documentary like yesterday.
Okay.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, they're a great band. Really nice guys. And I'm not gonna they're not gonna invite me on stage anytime soon to play. So I
I
gotta
suck.
too funny. You know what I another thing about your drumming too is it intentionally mirrors Lajon's vocals. And I was wondering, tell me, he talked a little bit about in previous interviews that this album was very deeply emotionally tied. It had messages, personal messages in it. Does he talk to you about that up front? And does that impact your playing and how you're gonna mirror his vocal parts?
Well, I mean, the thing is we all write the vocals. So, it becomes this thing where if I'm writing a vocal thing, if I'm writing the lyrics or the cadence or the melody, that's already going in.
Yeah.
It's like it's already happening for me. And then I look at him and I'm like, are you good there? Like, is that somewhere in your wheelhouse that you're liking it? Because, I don't want to be writing on something and have you be like, that doesn't work. The melody's funky to me or whatever. Same thing happens, Clint will come in and John will come in. Like, we're all involved in that vocal stuff. Um, the one that really stood out to me that really tied in tight was is this the real you?
Yeah, great song.
And he ended up writing that whole vocal thing after everything was done. So it was like I didn't even think the song had any lyrics or vocals to it. I was in the studio thinking the song was not even going to make the record,
Whoa.
and I was like walking by because it's like Wall Street in there. I mean, it's like you've got the main studio that's like across, like right attached to the house, and then inside the house we've got a number of different studio rooms where Clint might be upstairs with one, writing something up there. John might be downstairs, something over here. Lajon could be, in another room over there. And I'm bouncing between all of them or going into my room and sitting there with, headphones on trying to write lyrics to something. And then people are just running around. It used to be, tear a piece of paper. Now it's like a voice memo or, you typed it into your phone or you send it to the dude in the next room and be like, what do you think about this? I mean, it's super strange.
Yeah.
It's not five guys getting in a room together and, holding notebook pads, and trying to, what word would fit here? Like it doesn't happen like that anymore, you know.
Well, it's
So
five guys in a house, not in a room.
right, yeah. And with the doors like sealed shut, like
Yeah.
get away from me, and I'll let you know when I have something kind of vibe. But yeah, I mean it's Lajon is like the ultimate because he can do his thing and do it the best. And he's also super like open to like he's always said this thing of, I don't think that everything should come from one person or one perspective.
Right.
And me and him had a really good time writing on this record. It
Who
was
wrote?
like
Oh, sorry.
it it was really we were both going through some personal stuff.
Right.
So whenever me and him and John would get together at the farmhouse and work on some of John's material, we could sit in a room together and, I would write a line or something and he would be saying, mumbling something and say something. I'm like, oh yeah, let's get that in there. He goes, yeah, like what about it was like we were speaking each other's language, which doesn't happen all the time, and for him, especially as being the one that's singing it, if somebody in there has an idea and they throw it on top of it and he's been writing on something, it's like, no offense, but I kind of had an idea and this is a personal thing. Um, what the hell are you talking about? So that I can understand and I can feel what is happening here. I mean, I literally just said it. Somebody asked me about Threshold, and I was like, it's interesting how I'm realizing this. We're so close as a band, yet it's not always a collective experience. I could
Mhm.
go through something that's super close to me and it means a lot to me. For instance, like Threshold, where I might write a vocal for that and write the lyrics for the verse. And then Clint walks in and he writes this chorus. And I'm like, okay, that's not where I was going, but that's where you're going. And that's cool as shit too, And then I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, now I'm understanding this universal thing where it's like you can have different perspectives. Um, Sometimes, we write about something and I'm like, this is what this is about. And somebody will be like, this really helped me because I was going through this. And I'm like, that wasn't the same thing.
Yeah.
But it was
Relates to it.
translated that way. And that's the beauty of it, is everybody gets something out. So yeah, we had a really good, there was more cohesive conversations between me and him when it would be the songs that we were working on together.
That's fascinating to hear because everybody's putting their input to these songs, creating this soup, so to speak, but yet it comes across as one cohesive story that has meaning. And when I'm listening to the songs, I'm not thinking somebody wrote this lyric or this doesn't fit. I'm thinking it's a complete story. And
100%.
I'm taking your words and I'm making it fit my life and what I think it's about. So it's
Yeah.
fascinating, that different people are contributing and it's not one sole person. So that's pretty interesting. And
It's
it works.
it's wild, it really is because it's just one of these things where, like I said, me and Lejean were super close because we were dealing with a similar situation, just some similar stuff.
Mhm.
And but that's been the case with a lot of us, there's whether you're going through it with them or, like if let's say Lejean is dealing with something that I'm not having to deal with that at the moment, it's still a brotherhood to the point of where I know everything about it,
Yeah.
so even if, the lyrics might be cohesive for something he's dealing with and I'm not dealing with it, or Clint's not dealing with it, or whoever might be getting their hands in that area, it's like you're close enough to where you understand. I can the sympathizing part is super easy.
Yeah.
Empathizing, maybe not as much all the time. It's like I remember, I'll go way off, but I remember, somebody telling me that their grandmother had passed away, and I remember feeling really bad for them, but I really didn't have any super hard emotion about it.
Mhm.
It was like, that must be rough. But I had my grandma,
Yeah.
my Nana, and she was the most important person in my life. So when my Nana died, I not only grieved like the worst grief that I've ever experienced. But then I had this weird feeling where I was like, I feel twice as bad for all the people that told me about their grandparents because
Mhm.
now I get it.
Yeah.
So the difference is like, if we're writing a song and I'm like, man, he's wearing it right now, dude. Like, but I've never been through that. The difference is going to be, it's going to be major. I mean, you're going to be able to tell a story about something that you can imagine would be tough,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So that's where me and him had a really good time. We were both miserable for the same kind of shit.
When did you think you formed that relationship with Lajon, that the emotional and empathetic connection? When did you guys start doing that? About what year, what album would you say?
Oh God, this one,
Really?
yeah,
Just
yeah,
recently? Wow.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like we've always been respectful of each other. Um, I think that patience and I think patience is an issue around here. Um,
Comes with age.
yeah, and it gets worse. It gets worse. So I think that we've always been a little impatient to the point of where I think that the ideas were we were kind of turning records around pretty
Yeah,
quick.
I
And
get it.
it'd be like, here's a whole pile of music. And LaShawn's like, great, dude. So you guys all ate without me. Like now I gotta, and I've got 10 minutes to finish the whole meal, to where
Yeah.
it's like, by all means,
Wow.
any help would be appreciated. And everybody, enjoyed that part of it. Um, but yeah, like I said, he could write something and somebody come in and be like, well, I got this really cool melody and this feels pretty good. And he's always been great like that. Yeah, man, throw it in there and let me see what it sounds like. So, you know, I've said it, he said it, he's the man. So it's like for him to be that, I don't think that it all should come from one perspective is a beautiful thing. And it's super rare and we're
It's totally
lucky.
right. I don't think a lot of bands do that. I think a lot of bands are, here's all the music and, have at it. And we'll see you in a
Yeah.
couple months when you put it all together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that he's been frustrated many times because, once
Yeah.
you open the door
It's
for a
hard. Yeah.
bunch of us to come in there and be like, yeah, I got an idea. And he's like, Jesus Christ, can I get my idea out first, please?
And I want to
So
sing
I'm
about,
sure,
I want a song about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And like, what? That's not what this
yeah,
song is about. Yeah, you're missing the
right,
whole point.
right, right. And it goes all the way, I mean, we all do it to each other. It's
That's funny.
everybody's, it's like, I guess the best way to look at it would be like, it is a marriage, I
Yes,
mean, a band
absolutely.
is a marriage and everybody wants to hold the fucking baby, and it's like, so the baby's there, it's like, and you're looking at it going, oh, look at it, a cute baby. Oh, look how cute it is. And you're like, can I hold the fucking baby already? It's
Yeah.
like two people are hogging the baby. So it's like, that's kind of the way it is with these songs sometimes, it's like
You
people
talked
just
about the
hogging it.
positive aspect. What about the negative aspect where you don't like something? You're like, this is your idea is total shit. How do you broach that with somebody?
We
You all
figured it out
friends?
a long time ago. We figured it out a long time ago. It doesn't mean that it makes it any sting any less, but we figured it out. And that was if somebody walks in a room and says, I got an idea, and they play it for you, and the response is, that's pretty cool. That means it's the worst shit they've ever heard.
Oh, that's so funny.
So that's our easy way. That's our safe word.
That's a good one.
That's pretty cool. And then I walked in on this last record with something. And I said, what do you think about this? And John, maybe that's pretty cool. And I said, like, That's all I needed to hear, and I walked right out of the room. Like
Like,
I didn't. It was super compassionate, you know. I mean,
yeah,
just
yeah,
very nice way of. That's pretty cool. You know, that
yeah.
seems that's semi complimentary. In this band, that means you should can reconsider your place in the writing part of this band.
I read a long time ago that when you say something that's interesting, what you're really saying is that's boring. And I told that to my daughter. So anytime I tell her something and she goes, that's interesting, I do the same thing. I was like, I thought this was really cool. No,
That's pretty. That's I'm gonna definitely pay more attention to that. I
yeah.
think I've been told that that's interesting 1,000 times recently.
It means you're boring. It's like,
Oh
oh,
my
geez.
God! It's of course I am.
I said, I'm old, I'm boring. What was
Oh,
cool in 1980 is not cool now, but I still think it is. And,
right,
like, that's
definitely.
interesting. Yeah, that's
Oh,
so funny.
I
You know,
love it.
talking about lyrics, Brightside, who wrote that one? Or was that again a soup mix of everybody throwing in ideas? Because there's a great story behind that one.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote the majority of that. That was definitely something I was dealing with,
Yeah,
and
sounds
uh,
heavy.
and then and Lajon was sitting right there with me, so there's where I mean, again, those writing sessions were so good and so cool because it wasn't here's the idea,
Right.
what do you got? It was the idea is happening in real time.
Yeah.
You know, like we'd be sitting in the room together and it would be silent, and I'm just sitting there. I've got an idea in here, and Lajon's sitting there looking at me, and he'd be like, and we'd respect each other to where it's like if two, it's a really weird thing. It can get a little tense in the sense where you have an idea, two people are working on an idea, but they're working on it in here
Mhm.
until they actually go to the mic and scratch it. It's only just this, you know, thought.
Right.
If somebody sings their idea out loud while you're thinking of another idea in that room, that's like somebody throwing a missile at you,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, hold on, hold on, hold on. Like panic. Like, I don't want to lose this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
here. I just can't. I'm trying to work it out here before I get to the mic. And John, bless his heart, 90% of the time will be sitting there at the computer going, just get on the mic, dude. And it's like, no, we'll be like, no, not yet. I'm working it out in here,
Yeah.
you know. So that was one of those songs that me and him, were able to put together because we're looking at each other going, "Ooh, yeah, we got all this going on right now. Like we can relate to each other here. So what do you want to say here? I like this, you know. Give me I need a word that means this that's gonna put this all together. So yeah, that was
It's a unique song where it sounds like it's a positive, upbeat song, and the music follows it, but there's an undercurrent of something else going on in there. It's sarcasm or sadness that's really, it's an interesting dichotomy between the music, the lyrics, and then the what's not being said or the understanding of it. So
yeah.
kudos to you guys for that. And I love that perspective. It's a very deep song, and I like that aspect of the band.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just sitting here trying to think of where the catalyst to start those lyrics were, and it's like, sometimes it's something that happened a long time ago, or it's been a reoccurring issue or something that you just haven't tapped into. But you know, or it could be about oneself as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I really remember sitting there and digging into that and being like, this motherfucker and started kind of going down that road of pointing the finger at somebody else and
Yeah.
what their, holier than thou know it all type of world was. And then it ended up being like, oh, I think I'm talking about myself here a little bit,
Wow. Very
because,
introspective. Yeah.
it was this weird thing where for me it was, and we just had this problem, like it just happened again, where we had the most successful tour we've ever had, more tickets sold than we ever have, sold more merch than we ever have.
Wow.
Everything is
Yeah.
going like that for a band that's been in the game for 30 years. Like it's the weirdest shit in the world. I have no idea what the hell is happening right
And you're going to
now.
retire.
We were gonna, or I mean, that'll start a whole nother thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
But
finish
I
your
mean,
thought. I apologize. Yeah.
but but it's like, we're out on the road, and all of a sudden, it's like I walk into a discussion, and Clint's having a discussion with a few of the guys, and I walk in, and I feel like I'm on the back end of this thing. I feel like I'm being discussed,
Oh, wow.
and and it wasn't. I was told later that it wasn't that, but my guilt and my feeling of being a problem was there. And it was this thing where it was like I mean, I feel like I feel like this is verbatim. I think he said, I'm really freaked out by the fact that we have more production than we've ever had. We have sold more tickets. The shows are better than ever. We're doing everything is better. Everything is bigger. Everything is better. And nothing is making anyone happy.
Hmm.
It was this feeling of there's constant shit talking amongst the family, or there's complaining, you know,
Yeah.
and it was just like, what the hell is going on? Like, and I said, it hit me really hard. It really, really had a major effect on me. That is the most family business that I'll ever talk about in an interview, really,
Wow.
is that happened. And I was just sitting there one day in my hotel room, and I'm like, it really like affected me. And what had happened was I started to think of it like Boston Red Sox fans. I started to think about it like that,
Yeah.
in the sense where it was like they pissed and moaned so much for so long after not winning a World Series. We were mistreated for so long and left for dead many times,
Hmm.
and probably should not have made it through many times, that we just got used to talking about how miserable everything was because that's what our treatment was like.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden things start going well, and you're like, but I'm institutionalized on complaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm institutionalized on this. So the Red Sox, they could easily start a, Yankee suck chant, while they're playing the Angels, sometime, and Yankees aren't even in the same time zone. They could bitch about the Yankees, and they could hate the Yankees, and they could do all that and complain about it, and then they win a World Series. And it's almost like they woke up the next day and were like, well, what the hell are we going to do now?
Yeah. We can't complain.
We've been complaining for 100 years. What are we going to do now? And that's kind of like where it was. That's what it felt like for me. It felt like I've been bitching about all of this stuff for so long, and now it's not happening. It's better. And now I'm still just kind of walking around like waiting for the next, that it's the optimism that was never there is now showing up, and the pessimism that was the trademark of our band, like this shit ain't gonna work,
Yeah. Got to
is
change your
now.
mindset.
It's really not easy when you're this old and you've been doing it this long, and you're like, I mean, I've heard it before. What's in it for them? That it's like, no, man, this is just happening.
Yeah.
This is a gift, that is happening. It's hard to rewire the brain to be just, I mean, we were only always appreciative of one thing, and that was the support that we got
From the fans.
from the people that cared about us.
True.
That was the only thing that was real for us. It was like, and because the proof was in it.
Yeah. Very
We
true.
never should have survived it, and we only did because of our people.
That's
You
nice.
know,
That's a great sentiment. That's a great sentiment.
oh, the love affair is real. It's very, very deep. It's so emotionally charged that it's hard to explain it. I mean, I we meet them, the appreciation is at its highest level,
Yeah.
because we're able to survive the crash,
Yeah.
So when you're healing and you're trying to survive that crash and just, get to be able to get around, um, you can tend to be a little, not take for granted, I wouldn't go that far, but just overlook the fact that keep in mind and always remember, I know you do, but just, count some blessings over here.
Yeah, you got to do that every morning. Every morning, you got to say that to yourself, and you will rewire yourself. I do it now. I can't believe I'm here. I have a house, a family, a daughter, a career, a job, and I'm so happy for it. And you every morning, I just
Yeah,
God
it's a
for it.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It's tremendous. Because like you, when I was in college, I thought I'd begin to live in a cardboard box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
somebody was watching out for me and led me right down the right path. So, you look back 40 years later and go, holy cow, I'm here and I'm very happy.
It's a trip
That
to
is
have
really cool.
survived the whole thing. And I mean, all those comments and those lines have been used, of, you're going to appreciate it more if you have to work harder for it,
Mhm.
obviously. I mean, we worked hard,
You did.
we definitely worked hard. And, you know, it's really strange. I mean, it's just strange to there's a different kind of appreciation that's being shown back and forth now, even within some of the bands, some of the younger bands that are out there that are like, I'm meeting them and they're like, dude, Sevendust, that's our band. Like, we're down. We
Yeah.
were,
The inspiration. Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, man, we made it long enough to where, the inspired are creating a big thing right now. And, they're allowing us to, they're giving us some flowers over here,
Very nice.
so it's a cool feeling,
Congratulations. Yeah. Well deserved. Well deserved.
thank you. Thank you. I mean, a lot of people took a lot of people to to survive this thing,
Listen, Morgan, I want to thank you so much for your time today. It was such an insightful and an interesting interview. And I mean that very positively, unlike what I said
Oh
earlier.
yeah, yeah. Interesting.
No, it was a fascinating interview. And I was so excited to speak with you today because we've never spoken. And I
I
really
enjoyed
enjoyed
it
it.
a lot. You're
Thank you
you're
so much. I had a
wonderful.
lot of laughs too. I don't do that a
Yeah,
lot on interviews. A lot
me
of joking, a
too.
lot of laughing. So thank you so much for your time. And
I
I
can't
wish you the
wait to
best.
see you. Where are you at?
I'm in New Jersey.
Love it. I was born in Jersey.
Oh, whereabouts?
I was born in Middlesex Hospital and grew up in first 6 years of my life were in Edison Township.
Okay, yeah. I'm close to Edison. We're in Hillsborough. So
Yeah,
maybe 35 minutes away.
yeah. Menlo Park and all that.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Yeah.
Menlo
My
Park
aunt
Mall.
was in Perth Amboy.
Down the shore. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very cool. A
yeah.
Jersey boy. You're a Jersey
Jersey
boy. No
boy.
matter where you are,
John
you're always
too.
going to be a Jersey boy.
Yeah, John too.
John, too, really?
Yeah, me and John, Jersey boys.
Well, I saw you when you played the Stone Pony maybe 2 years
Wow.
ago. You were coming out of that pizza place across the street from the Stone Pony.
Yeah,
El Forno, I want to say.
yeah, yeah.
Well, if you like pizza, when you and Lajon, I know Lajon likes pizza. I've spoken to him. When you guys come back, I'll take you to a really great place in Asbury Park that has the best pizza I ever had. And I know my pizza.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm a pizza monster. It's
Me too.
obviously we're in Georgia down here. It's you get lucky every now and again
Yeah.
and find a place that the
Same.
crust is decent, but
Well, I'll
nothing
take you
like
guys. I'll grab Kevin. I'll take the three of you guys out, my treat, and I'll
love
show you
it.
some of the best pizza I've ever had in my life
Whew,
from New York to
love
New
it.
Jersey. So, yeah.
I love it.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks
Morgan.
so
Have a
much.
great day.
You
Bye-bye.
too, buddy. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.